Okay. So guys, first of all, thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. This is an event we planned just in a week. That's why we would have liked to have more people, more time to plan this. But thanks for being here. We believe that there will be more events like this, so we look forward to it. I'm Mirko Fiaschi, and I'm one of the two founders of this app called LETZDOIT. Me and my co-founder, we created this app because we are very, very social. We like to bring people together at events like this, people that share the same passions. And actually, myself and Melchor met through the app. I was having a glass of wine with my wife, and it was in the early stages of LETZDOIT, and I wanted to test the app and created an event, and Melchor showed up. So it was very funny, but very satisfying, because I could see that actually the app works, and without us meeting at that time, we wouldn't be here today. So that's something I truly believe in. It's by being socially active within your community, you can really change lives. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to the artists tonight. We have Anna, we have Steve, we have Melchor, but I would like each one of them to say where they are from and how many years they have been a professional artist.
All right, I guess I'll go first. I'm Anna Duvall. I was born in Berlin, Germany, to a German mother and an American father, and ended up growing up on Maui, Hawaii. I have been an artist ever since I can remember, but drawing is one of the first things I remember doing. But I've been kind of selling art in Portland pretty steadily since 2006. And that's, yeah.
So I am Steve Maker, and I am basically a local. I was born in Bend, one of the few locals I think left in Oregon. I was trying to think the first time I got in professional art. It was probably in the 80s, and I was selected as one of the Oregon visiting artists, and that kind of got me started working around the state of Oregon.
What about you, Melchor?
I am Melchor Moore. I am from Jackson Hole, Wyoming, 5th generation. Got here 2014 to Portland. When I started painting, and then I have been a professional acrylic on canvas painter since October of 2017. So I am the baby of the group.
Yeah, we should change the order, right?
We should start from largest to
Steve,
smallest.
Anna, and then definitely you afterwards. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that your art is equally beautiful. All right, so I'll start with the questions. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. So the first question I have for you is what made you enter the art market as a professional painter? Who wants to take this first?
Me? Okay, guess I'm up to bat. First of all, I kind of don't know if I consider myself a professional painter. I'm more of a professional cocktail waitress. That's my bread and butter. But lately, painting's been taken off to the point where I was able to quit a second service industry job I had to do art primarily on my days off because I was making a little more money on my side hustle. My first art sale ever would have been like elementary school in Hawaii, drawing graffiti lettered, Amber loves Kalani, little signs for people for 50 cents. I was fortunate enough to have a really great art teacher in high school who entered me in a lot of contests, scholarships. So I thought, I'll go to college and be a professional artist. That didn't pan out exactly when I graduated. I ended up in an apron, but was fortunate enough to be drawing in a bar next to my work, and the owner of the bar was like, hey, those are really cool sketches. Would you like to put some art up on my walls? That was a Thomas of Momo's bar in 2006, and my art's been there ever since. It kind of serves as a live portfolio. And Instagram took off. Actually, I started putting my art on MySpace a million years ago. And I got a lot of initial shows through there. And then after Instagram started, that's really where I was able to network and get jobs, like at a brewery, Boneyard Brewing, different shows, network with Melchor. So that was a real good starting block. And one day, maybe I can do art full time, but right now it's a really great second source of income. And yeah, I'll never stop doing it, I guess.
Well, let me just interject that actually Anna's artwork at Momo's at the bar. Momo's is how I first saw her, and somebody gave me a handle at Anna's D's Nuts. And so I was following her, and then we messaged each other for the last show on June 6th. So that is, that's how you kind of get your name out there.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's like handing your art in places where people go hang out is definitely a very good venue. And events like this, you get to meet the people that like your art. Is another way to get your name out there, right? It's like you word of mouth.
Mm-hmm.
It's very powerful way of.
Yeah, I'd say I get most of my shows and work through word of mouth, equally as through social media. So, and the more you're out doing art in a public space, like I love drawing, I like being alone in public places like bars and just starting to sketch. And you get so many, you never know who's going to come up behind, tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, I work for Nike, or hey, like I really like this, can you do my record cover, or like my tap handle. And so I think a lot of artists are making the mistake of just being alone and creating alone all the time, when I feel like a lot of exposure could happen if you took it outdoors,
Do you think, Anna, that your market is mostly in local, like in Poland, or your Instagram allows you to sell even outside of these?
Yeah, mostly I was selling locally. Just recently through social media, I've been selling art to someone in Texas, a lot of art to people in Bend, because I have some art at their Boneyard Club there. And I was telling Ryan, post office flat rate boxes are the way to go, because you can stuff them totally full and they don't go by weight. So like to send a painting like something like this size to Texas was like $18, which like that's such a, so I've never sent anything internationally. I wouldn't know any way of doing that, but like definitely within the US, yeah.
What was the method you sent?
Flat rate post office boxes.
Flat rate.
Yeah.
How large can you go with that?
Pretty big. Like I said, I got something that fit this. Sometimes they're out of the bigger boxes because I think there's a lot of like sneakerheads and people also using this method to send everywhere across the US. But yeah, they're pretty helpful at the post office, and I've done all the other shipping methods, and I think that's the cheapest for sure.
And,
sorry, I'm not good at public speaking.
I'm actually very interested here. It's like when you post on Instagram, do you ever do paid promotion on Instagram?
I just switched my Instagram to a paid site where I can do it, but I haven't tried to promote anything. I tried to promote a piece initially, but there was a reference to alcohol in the quote or something, so they wouldn't let me. I think Instagram is pretty picky about what they, so I haven't tried it since, but I have it set up so that I can, and maybe I'll do that before my next show to see. It would basically make anything I post a paid ad, which sometimes I get annoyed at those ads, so I don't know what I should really do, if that's like a good way to go, or if it's kind of selling, like a sellout. People will be like, oh, I'm going to unfollow her. She's not like a DIY person anymore. So
yeah, it would be nice if that is helping other artists. It would be nice to know if this is something you really use your.
And I'm like pretty much a grandma with social media. Like, I feel like a lot of artists, if I had that extra income, I would pay someone to manage my social media, because he just taught me how to use YouTube. Like I don't even have a computer. I do everything through my iPhone. Don't have a computer, don't have a TV, so I'm pretty old school that way.
For all three of you, do you all have like Facebook, or what are they called?
Instagram,
Pages?
yeah.
Where you, not just Instagram, but you're on websites where you post your work. Do you all have that?
I think we do. What I have found on Facebook and Instagram is you get a lot of wonderful comments. How much people, does that mean they're going to buy your art? No. Maybe if you do it enough and they see your work, then they see your work here, they see your work other places, it may start to click. But you know, there's a lot of images on Instagram. I mean, I don't do that very much, and yet I get 200 photographs a day.
Well, you're not on Instagram at all, are you?
Are you on Instagram?
Are you
Yeah.
on Instagram, Steve?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram.
You are?
Yeah.
Oh, I should follow you.
Yeah, I didn't even, I was looking for you, I didn't
Oh, we
find
couldn't
you.
find you.
It's the Culture Curl Antiques.
Okay.
So
That one
I,
again?
whenever I
Culture
see
what?
the Culture Curl Antiques.
Because you're an antique dealer first, right?
No, I'm a painter first.
Oh.
And I'm a antique dealer second.
Well,
The
like-
antiques support the art.
That's right, but you know, they're all connected. You know, I have a theater degree. I have a performing degree, which was theater, was stage design, was, you know, one thing leads to the next. And it was funny because I see Luke here, and I don't know.
I'm sitting here going, I know this guy. Why do I know this guy?
You know, I came to Portland in 1980.
And he was here before you.
And you did my first interview with me on KGW television. So, but that was theater.
No way.
You know, things change. I did a lot of design backdrop, and people saw my work, and I've got a gallery now, and I thought, you know, I'd really like to do that myself. And I started doing it, and I love doing it, and I kind of now sell more of my paintings than I do other people, which I'm ecstatic that I can. It doesn't mean that if you don't sell your work, you're a failure, but it's really nice as an artist to sell your work. It means people really like your work. So
And it also
One thing-
means you can keep on going.
Yeah.
hopefully you can keep on going and keep transitioning.
And not get buried in your artwork.
Right. I mean, I do a lot of different things, and I like them all.
So Steve, you bring something up that very interesting, right? It's like we have a social media nowadays that allows you to reach so many people at once, right?
Right.
So you said Instagram, you have millions of pictures right there in front of everybody at every single moment.
Right.
But it's very difficult, according to me, in those settings to learn more about you, your art piece, your story. So I feel like with my wife, when we buy art, we want to know the story that is behind that piece of art. We would like to be engaged by the story of the artist. Or it's simply a moment that we are experiencing and we come across this piece of art. It's like, okay, we need to get this piece just because of what we just experienced, right? Does it resonate with you a little
But
bit?
it works both ways. What I am aware of is like I'm there and there's a piece of artwork that I did and people love it. And some people think, oh my gosh, you did it. I love the piece. I love you. I love everything. I'll buy the piece. On the other side of it is, oh my gosh, you know, you're a living artist. I couldn't possibly buy something from you. You know, it's who are you? You know, and 1 minute earlier they loved my piece of artwork and they walk out the door. So, you know, I got to be careful. And
Well, you bury all of your artwork among like these Renaissance.
I bury it everywhere because I just don't know. I mean, I don't care. It's actually interesting to hear what people say. Like, who are you?
Yeah.
Do you show somewhere? I show here. You're seeing it right now. Do you like it? But, you know, people aren't used to buying art. It's a new thing here.
Okay.
So you kind of one at a time, you deal with people.
So basically you're saying it's nice to have like the opportunity to tell a story, but you also want to check other venues. So all the
You don't want to tell too much of your
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
Because do they like your artwork?
It's like
Do they like you? Maybe they don't like me, you know,
It's
but they like my artwork.
It's like on a first date, right? On a first date,
That's right.
you
Don't
want
say
to
too much. Everything's okay.
Or like, I hate it when, that being said, someone, like it's, like you, same thing, do you like my art or do you want to ask me out? Like don't move from one venue to get to the other, you know? Like, don't want to talk, you invite me to sushi because we're going to talk art business and then it turns out that's not what you want to talk about. Like, yeah, I hate when people mix those two things up.
I feel like it degrades the painting when that happens too. I've sold to people I've gone on dates with, and then like it didn't work out. And now you've got my painting, and I kind of want it back.
Yes.
Or yeah, exactly. It could be offensive, like, oh, so you don't like my art, then you know, like, you weren't actually interested in showing my art. You just wanted to hang out.
You know, each one of us are trying to sell their art. They're painting. We're painting, and we like to sell our art. And you know, that's degrading, but we see the other side of that, where somebody's buying a painting because their neighbor owns the artist.
Yeah.
You know, and well, what do you like about this painting? I like it because my neighbor's is smaller. You know, like, oh, okay. You know, people buy art for different reasons.
And at the end of the day, no matter what we do for work, we're always kind of selling ourselves too, you know, so.
Well, you got to.
Yeah, some people might buy my art because they like me, and
That's right.
and that's
It's
it,
okay.
you know, yeah, and that's okay. Like, whatever the reason is, go buy it, yeah. I'm not complaining.
So do you suggest putting your art out in galleries? Because everything I do, the only way I sell anymore is by word of mouth. And of course, that's just really hit and miss. So I haven't put my stuff out in galleries for years.
Have you tried social media too?
I'm on Instagram, but I don't have a page of my own, you know, and I post it on Facebook every now and then. But mostly I just show it, and people, you know, sell it, and other people see it in the homes of their friends. Yeah, just by word of mouth. He has it in his office, gotten a lot of business through his offices.
To try to get into a gallery is difficult,
Yes.
and it doesn't necessarily have to do with what you got as much as who they already represent. You know, if you're doing flowers and they have somebody doing flowers, you can forget it.
And I have found that a lot of people, even if they like your art, if you don't have a recognizable name,
That's right.
if you're an unknown, they don't want to.
I've never really had a show at a gallery unless you're counting like PNCA and Art Institute.
Yeah.
It's all bars. And you know what? You sell a lot of art at bars, especially smaller pieces, because people are more likely to, when they're drinking, you know, their girlfriend likes it.
Totally.
They're like, that's dope, I'll buy 3. They wake up in the morning, they're like, what happened? But still, we've all been there. But yeah, I find you do sell a lot of art at bars. And I feel like every time I go to these first Thursday gallery things, it's a lot of people just walking around to see and be seen and drink the free wine and not buy art. You know, like, I feel like even last Thursday it's become more of like a giant party than about art. I feel like, so.
That's true, but you know, when First Thursday first started, it was the opposite.
It was.
It was the art was the most, and so it's transitioned, just like the neighborhoods transitioned into breweries.
Yep.
You know, it's changed. So if you want to sell your art, you have to
Get creative.
get creative.
What would you say? Go around and visit like coffee shops and bars where they have
Well, I think
art?
that's what we're all doing, like basically.
Take your portfolio on your phone or something.
Yeah,
we're
totally.
looking for venues like all the time. You probably less than others because you own a gallery.
Not necessarily. You know, being in my own gallery is different. I want to be in other places, not necessarily galleries.
Another good source are school auctions.
School
A lot of
auctions.
drunk people there. Seriously, they buy stuff all the time.
Really?
Depends on your artwork, though. I did that a few times. My stuff is just so high shopping at the Christmas
Awesome.
I've had
art fair.
really good
You don't do a lot of
experiences
nudes at
with
school auctions.
No, it's,
No, I've done a ton of, I mean, it's might be different what you do as an artist, but I've got a lot of sales. And same thing, people are drunk and they wake up and say, oh, why did I buy? But it goes for a good cause too. It goes to the schools and if you know, eventually will be a client, right?
But you know how I feel about those school auctions. I think they're great, but they think you're common. You know, if the schools would promote them as, we are so lucky to get this artist here tonight. This isn't $1,000, it's a $5,000 painting, and this $4,000 is going to the biology department. You know, part of that is my issue with auctions is they don't promote them enough. They've got this venue to make money, and they don't know how to do it.
You're not going to get the price that you want for a painting at a donation auction. You're going to sell way under like what its value at.
Yeah, I've never
Good deals and they're gonna want it.
No, I.
Well, I just meant for more exposure.
Yeah, no,
not
it's
so
great for
much-
exposure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not so much to sell because you're donating it, excuse me, you're donating it, so you're not gonna sell it, right? But they might see your artwork and there's cards there or whatever, it's just more exposure.
Yeah, it might work more for your brand than for, just for that one sale.
But it takes us months to make one of these pieces. You know,
Yeah. Now, I used to do a few auctions, of charity and stuff, and I stopped doing it because I thought they didn't treat my work or me with the respect that I might have had. They just said, oh, here's a painting by so-and-so, and, I don't have the name recognition. People would, even if they liked the painting, they'd say, who's that? And, it was always somebody in the neighborhood,
Take charge and write your own stuff, write your own little blurb.
Yeah, I
and
do
then
that. I do that.
Well, we'll have to collaborate with you like in the future. Yeah.
If the next time that a school auction or any auction wants your work, fine, but put it in your contract that you're going to promote me on this site. I want an Instagram site. I want a Facebook site with my name, not just artwork. Artists need to promote themselves more. This is what this is all about. We all want to do this full time, professionally, and I've been doing it just as long as the stockbroker down the street or more. And
Yeah, I'm not good at promoting myself.
artists are not good at promoting themselves. That's a problem.
I need for you to tell me again what your Instagram site is.
The Cultured Pearl Antiques.
It's actually the gallery.
The gallery.
Yeah.
It's Cultured Pearl Antiques.
It's
Trying to
mutated.
find-
We
I was
started.
trying to find it, so.
The cultured.
Cultured.
Antique.
Yeah, we came up with that name before the pearl was popular.
No way.
And we've had a lot of very commercial businesses try to get it from us, and they don't have it.
There we are.
Hold out for that million.
Yeah, I've been
right.
holding out for that one.
So, a question I want to ask is because I see that you just said that artists are not very good at promoting themselves.
Right.
I see that maybe some of the artists are better than others, right?
That's right.
So I see what you guys are doing, getting together for this art talk, sharing experience with each other. I think it's very useful for each one of you to learn a little bit more how to succeed as an artist. So can you tell us, at the same time though, many people are a little bit protective about their style, their technique, their strategies. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about the competition, the competition among artists?
Yeah, for sure. The competition among artists, like you said, that I don't want my art next to anybody who looks like my artwork. Like I don't want to cause confusion. I don't want my stuff next to like a Mark Berry, because it would cause confusion. You wouldn't have a sale.
I find in my group of artist friends, I find it's less of a competition and more of a community, because we're all kind of like underdogs and we all try to help each other out with you should get on this site, you should get into this bar, they sell art, these people charge commission, these people don't. And I feel like I have a lot of friends who do visual art, but I feel like all of our styles are so different that there's no way I can compete with Ace Troy or my friend Vimo Visuals, Vicky, because even if I tell Ace I use this brand of epoxy on my painting, before I was maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm no, his stuff looks so different, there's no way that we could take away from each other. We might as well build each other up, especially in a place like Portland. The more strength in numbers, the more the merrier. So I've never really felt oh, I don't want to show with this person, or I've never had, I've been lucky to never have beef with any person in the art community. And I feel among each kind of genre, there's a sticker artist, they're like a gang. They roll tight and they self-regulate. As far as my friends and I who do more like portraiture stuff, like, yeah, we're all friends. We all try to like get each other onto the next show, or, you know, I show at Lowbrow, I tell Vicky, hey, Lowbrow is a good place to hang your art. Then I get snaky on there, like, I can't hang my art every month, every year at the same place. So if there's a bar owner who's really chill, we all like communicate on that level. And I think it's a really good scene. I've heard like New York and like Art Basel or whatever it's called in Miami, that can be really cutthroat. I've heard from people, but I don't know from personal experience. So I like our little art scene in Portland. I think it's great from my experience anyway.
You know, Portland is Portland. It's, to me, it's like a small city, big town, small city. We have a lot of art. The world's big. The world has a lot of art. And we're always all trying to do what we want to do. And the best way to promote it is word of mouth. I think, you know, we're so different here. I can't promote those two. You know, they can promote themselves. And I think it goes back to word of mouth and things like this opportunity to talk about it. I think probably if you're talking about large galleries, you never get a situation like this. You get a situation where you're talking about your work, or I'm talking about my work, but a communal kind of feeling, I don't think you get.
Well, we do that too. Like we were just talking right before we met up. I said, "There's a phone number I want you to have," and I said, "Let me talk to this gallery owner, and we'll pass you on." So I think you're right about that thing. But if your stuff looked like mine, I would probably not.
Yeah. We're lucky everyone's style that I know is super unique, that I've never, and I've seen a couple graffiti artists where I'm like, wow, those two guys their stuff looks I wonder how he feels about his stuff, and he started first. But I haven't experienced anyone who's really bit my style yet, so maybe I'm lucky.
Well, I know that you went to art school and trained in art. How about you guys?
For 1 year. Then I went to school for graphic design.
Yeah. How about you?
And now I don't, no,
Do you
even have a computer.
training background, or are you self-taught?
I went to the Museum Art School about 100 years ago, but it wasn't for me. I didn't like the approach they had at that time. Not saying they have it different or something now, I don't know. But for me, it wasn't what I wanted to do. So I went in a different direction and kind of came back to Portland.
Me, no, I say self-taught. I took like there was like my mom hired a tutor one summer. This 19-year-old lady, Molly Hawks, I think her name has changed now, but she came and like taught me how to paint a landscape for like 2 weeks in my parents' patio, and I took a figurative life drawing class in college as a requirement. And then after that, it's just
play.
I was just playing. And then, I guess I kind of, what was that question that you asked? It was like, how did you become a professional artist or something?
Yes.
I think that when I became an artist, I walked into a gallery and decided I needed 13 paintings to cover the walls. And so I went home and made 13 paintings in like a year. And then when I had 13 paintings, I went back to the gallery and had 13 paintings. And that's how I started.
Yeah, no, I'm completely self-taught, and I'd say it's probably been the last 10 years that I've actually taken it kind of seriously and pursued it. But I have a real problem about feeling intimidated by people who are professionally trained, because I don't have the same skill level. I'm not there yet because I'm just learning and I'm finding out things on my own, and I really feel intimidated by the professional art world.
But on the other side of that is
I
that
wouldn't go back to art school. I learned how to paint in high school and took that 1 year art school. I wasn't impressed and went to U of O after that for graphic design. Just learned how to work 3 jobs and go to school with a hangover. That's about it, to pay for tuition. Like if I could go back and not go to college, I wouldn't go at all. I could wait tables without a degree.
Yeah, I think like there's a lot of things happening.
Nice.
They don't want people to have a background in academic art making.
It's just been recently that I've been saying, well, great, I didn't go to art school. school because I don't have the limitations by knowing what I can and cannot do with the medium. I'm learning for myself, and I haven't had an instructor say that doesn't work.
Do you guys feel like you can look at other people's artwork and see like mistakes? Can you like tell when somebody like has lost control of their medium?
I don't think, for me, it's not a mistake. It's when I see artists that have hooked into something that really works, style, and the rest of their life they do that style. They do a different subject, but it's the same style. Where people who are emerging are always changing, and we will change. Their style is developing. They're developing their own style, not my style through this artist who sells really well at that gallery. Who cares?
But you won't look at like a painting like in a gallery and like see where they missed like something.
Oh, I do that all the time. Sure.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Well, I do.
I mean, nobody cares but me.
Yeah, I do.
So I have a question as someone that is not an artist. Is when you look at a painting, when you create something, and how much skill do you think goes into it? How much skill is important for the masterpiece, for the piece of art? Because I think when it comes to art, it doesn't feel like skill is as so important as skill at building a car or building something technological, building an app, like in our case. It feels like the emotions that go into it, the emotions that you are able to convey to the audience, or the colors that you're going to use are not necessarily skill. What do you think about it? What do you think about the different components that go into a piece of art?
For us who do art conservation, we see really fabulous artists who didn't know anything about the material. And in that sense, they won't last. If they've taken a little bit of time and figured out how to put their paint on or prepare their canvas, they last. There's some artists, there's an American artist named Melchor, who was, I think he was the highest paid artist of the 19th century. But he didn't know how to mix his paint. And most of them literally have run off the canvas. So, you see a Blakelock painting and there's no paint on the canvas. That's an extreme example, but I think artists need to spend a little bit more time knowing their material and then talk about inspiration.
Rothko too. Rothko uses house paint and stuff, and his stuff's millions of dollars, and it's all
Rothko, the paint, house paint, a lot of Portland painters use house paint because it was cheap. Well, it's not. It's only been 50 years.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about, like about the car varnish. Like we were talking about. I was wondering about the durability of that.
I've never
You
used
don't
it,
know.
but I use the high gloss resin. I think that it keeps the art preserved for longer than it would. Like I'm putting it over paper drawings. Those paper drawings will disintegrate way faster without something protecting them. And I know I've had a lot of death in my immediate family, and I feel like I draw my friends, people in real life, and I feel like I want to immortalize them for as long as possible. So I hope this epoxy helps with that.
Well, and Harvey was telling me, I said, well, what do you feel about varnish? And he said, you have to varnish your paintings because ultimately when it gets restored, then that's what you wipe off is the varnish, which is taking out the dirt.
I just like the way it looks. Bling.
Well, that's okay, but paint changes just like a house paint, like at the outside of a house. It looks really pretty, and then if you look at it 10 years later, it's the wrong color. Paint changes, and the more you can do as an artist to protect what you've just done, the better it's going to be.
The Momo's paintings are coming up on 13 years now, and they're looking pretty okay still. I mean, the color does change. Also, they were smoking in that bar forever. But yeah, pretty happy with how they've held up. Some of the paper things I preserved under gloss. I noticed I was using my ballpoint pen. That stuff's going to fade even under the gloss. So I have to go for permanent pens and more heavy-duty stuff. But yeah, I don't know the science behind any of the process.
So I would like to continue to talk with you guys for not forever, but I want to leave some content also for one of our next events, because after this one I believe there will be more. We want to hear more from you on maybe on a different topic. Tonight's topic was more about how to make it as an emerging artist, but we have a long list of other topics we will discuss going forward. So maybe you guys want to tell how to check your website if you have one, or your Instagram page before we close?
Sure. You can find my art at Kill All Artists on Facebook with a capital K, Anna D's Nuts, Instagram, which is where I do most of my foot traffic, ANNADEEZNUTZ, and then you can see my art at Momo's Bar at Lowbrow Lounge on the wall. And then if you're in Bend, Oregon, go to Boneyard Brewing. I do some artwork for them, and there's a little room with my art in it there. Plus, if you drink Incredible Pulp or Pablo Pills, that's a tap handle I did. So, yeah.
So with me, it's the Cultured Pearl Antiques. Started out as antiques, kind of mutated into gallery. And it's harveyandstevesgallery.com. And my work right now is, I sell in my gallery. I've got some work over at Sun River Lodge, different couple places around town, but I try to use every avenue I can possibly find to put my artwork in. I may not be winning first prizes, I don't know, but at least people are seeing my work.
You have a show at Sun River Lodge.
I have paintings at Sun River Lodge. I've had shows there, but no shows right now. So in Bend, near Bend.
My website is melchormoore.com.
Say that again.
Huh?
What's the
Melchor
website?
Moore, melchormoore.com. I'm also Melchy Lakes Cake, MELCHY Lakes Cake on Instagram. And I guess if I'm not currently in any galleries, but if you want a little piece of my artwork, you can find me on Sarah Banker's album cover for Lately on Spotify. You can just upload that.
Very nice, very nice. And an easier way to connect with them and even more artists is through the Let's Do It app. We're gonna check it out. You downloaded it already, I saw it. If you check it out, what we are trying now to do is like bring more artists to the platform. So anytime they are performing, they are painting their piece of art, maybe they can have people come and watch them while they do that. I feel like that is a great experience as someone that likes art. So if you want, there are some flyers hanging at the bins here, and you can download the app and follow them, each one of them. There is a code you can scan, and every time they will be posting something, you get a notification. So yeah, check it out, LETZDOIT.com.
How often are you going to be doing this? Do you have a schedule or anything?
We're thinking at least a couple of times a month would be ideal. But we definitely have a list of topics. We just want to see, what about the venues? We want to make it in a way that we can be in front of as many people as possible. Because
So you're looking for different venues. Are you going to go to different parts of
all the time, yes. I mean, we really like this venue. We will be here again for sure. But we also want to touch different parts of town, not just the Northwest. We want to be in Southeast, we want to be in Southwest, and we want to touch a little bit of every corner of the city. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So this was a great event. I really like the way the artists told the stories, how they engage with the public. I love when people get together in real life, and this is why we're going to do more of these events. So if you want to be part of these events in real life, or something real with real people around you, you just need to follow us on Instagram. Even better, download the app. You can find it on both the App Store or Google Play. The app is called Let's Do It with a Z. There's gonna be a link around here. So download it and like what you like to do in general, and you'll see events pop up around you, and you can go join them and meet people that have your same interests. So I look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.
Well, I think the event, for a first-time event, went really well. Nobody was quite sure what to expect. With the question of how do you promote yourself, how do you promote the arts, big question. I think there were more questions that were left unanswered than we actually answered, but it was really nice listening to the other two artists talk about how and what works for them and what works for me. And we're looking forward to the next event, maybe in a couple more weeks.
It's great. I mean, it's always great, the questions, you know, it just clarifies more what I'm trying to do with my creativity. And, you know, using social media stuff is all new to me too. It's been, you know, Facebook 2014. I just joined Instagram just maybe about 3 months ago, and just started my own website, which has been trying to be done in 30 years. So just getting it all going and trying to turn it all into just art making. So that's it. Hugh J. Russell.
I love the genuinity of this event. I mean, the fact that we talk about being a community rather than being, you know, individual cutthroat artists. I appreciate that. I like that we can sit down and talk. Other than that, I mean, open panel. I love the fact that we can have open conversations, we can ask questions, and it's not just reserved to people that you look at. You appreciate, but yet you can't talk to. You can't actually have a personal connection with, and at the same time, it makes their art more valuable. I mean, it makes the fact that you can talk with these people makes more genuine, more important to me.
Hi guys, I hope you liked this video. Don't forget to stop by Cerulean in the Northwest Portland to check out their awesome wine. Thank you, Mirko, with Let's Do It app, LETZDOIT. I hope that you guys upload the app and use it to promote your next event. Also, Anna Duvall, always the greatest graffiti artist that I know, Steve Maker of the Cultured Pearl in the downtown Pearl. And if you guys like this type of content, don't forget to subscribe and like.